Hello and welcome to another jungle video. Let me ask you a question. You want to be the better jungler, yes? You want to get 3 level leads? You want all the objectives? You want the enemy to say jungle different, but it actually be true. Well, hopefully this video will help you with this exact problem. I will be highlighting why it's most important that you do not give the enemy jungler anything for free. Using your leads is important, but doing that while denying the enemy jungler any opportunity and punishing every mistake they make is the key ingredient to achieving this fantasy. I will go over a few challenger examples showing you how junglers are cutthroat with their pathing and their decisions, and then show you some variety MMR examples about how most of you simply let enemy junglers get away with horrible play because you do not punish them enough and taking what you deserve and need in order to carry your games. But before we do this, Rhaast has a message from our sponsor.
Hello, have you ever noticed how when you get Ocean Soul, the map is hairy? To me, nothing makes me happier than seeing the Fire Soul. All grass is torched, the surfaces are smooth, and I can eat through everything with such ease. Rhaast likes the feel. Well, the good news is Manscaped is the only option for you to feel the same way. Keep yourself hygienic and clean with the best products made from better materials than the orbs that gave me form. They sent me some tools to use, and as you can see, with the Perfect Package 3.0 kit, I was able to use the new lawnmower body trimmer while walking through the river to gank bottom lane due to its water resistance. The lawnmower's pathing precision rivals even the best junglers, and it's how Virkayu himself learned the value of close shaving, because it wasn't his face. You've noticed how my perfect red skin has no blemishes. That's because this 7000 RPM trimmer leaves no nicks and cuts, even on my own personal orbs. Along with a Crop Reserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver, you will be feeling fresh, smooth, and smelling good with no chafings for those fast rotations. You can get all of this for 20% off, plus 2 free gifts at manscaped.com with promo Virkayu.
Okay, and in our first example, we have a Xin Zhao against a Viego. The Xin Zhao is going to simply do a 5 camp clear, so is the Viego. The difference is, as you'll see, the blue side mid laner has warded the Raptors of the Viego. Not that you really needed any more knowledge, it's a 5 camp meta, Viego likes to do 5 camps, and so does Xin Zhao. Now he goes to his red buff into his Raptors. We're seeing this a bit more now, get that 4 camp going. Look for action after your 4 camp in red. If there really is nothing, you do those Raptors, and because you're not planning on doing Krugs, you delay the spawning of those Raptors to deny possible counter jungling. Now because we saw the Viego go to the top side, we know we got leashed, he's on the red buff, and your mid laner is shoving, getting the Sylas within kill threat, the best thing for you to do is to look and assess. You can hover around the back and use that really long W range to help out and gap close should you need it. As we freeze the frame as he does that, what would you do next? From his body language, you can tell he wants to go to the top side crab. A lot of you, I bet, would love to go to the bottom side crab, maybe look for some counter jungling, maybe looking to shadow bot lane. The thing is, your bottom lane has prio, they're pushing up, you know the enemy Viego's on the top side, and the Grump won't be respawning for some time yet. And this is a hallmark of all high elo junglers, good junglers. If you are in the same situation, 99.99% of them are going for their top lane crab. You have mid lane prio, a dead Sylas, you can win 1v1, and of course you have your Tahm Kench with his new traveling ability that isn't tied to his ultimate. Yes, you're going to lose the crab, but the point is you're not giving it to him for free. You're killing him for it, and then you're going to gank top lane afterwards, and you're killing him for it. Also worth noting, if you decided to go to the bottom side crab, the Viego most likely is going to gank your top lane, and if Sylas TP's back in, he's going to gank the mid lane. So you're giving him a free crab, a free gank on the top side, and the ability to go do his Krugs and then reset. All because you wanted to potentially just do your crab on the bottom side and take your Krugs. So you might think, hey, I got first blood. Yes, I get a crab in my camp, but you didn't punish the Viego for terrible pathing. He doesn't have prio to make this play. Punish him, deny him, all at the same time while giving yourself an advantage. What this does is, yes, you give him topside crab, just as a byproduct of timing. Yes, now he's 100% going down to the bottom side to take that bottom crab, but no, you cannot contest it. That's why this Xin simply goes to his Grump and Wolves. They're the second tier spawn of those camps. His bottom lane had reset, the Viego would have been there with bot prio. There's no point even going up there, so we sequence our camps quickly, we shadow mid lane, and because we know the Viego will be pathing upside, you can be there to either counter gank or to simply clean up and dive the rise as you wish. The game is taken on a very different feel because we collapse on the Viego, you're forcing the Viego in terrible situations. After he's died again, where else can he go? The only camp on the map is the Krugs. He has to go topside. There's no other alternative, and in lower elo games when they do this, I can highly recommend simply going to take that dragon, ganking bottom lane. You will have more windows. In Challenger, you have to be a bit more cautious about these things, but the point is we are denying the enemy by moving to where he is, cutting him off, and using our advantages against him. We're not giving him anything for free, even a crab. What about this Volibear example from a coaching session I had the other day? The Volibear does a 5 camp, that's very nice. We're able to get the top lane scuttle, we're able to get the bottom lane scuttle, we're able to gank bottom lane. All of this is standard stuff as outlined in my jungle route video, in my jungle tempo video. You can take your Krugs, you can take your Raptors, whatever the enemy jungler's mistake might be, slower clearing, forgets to buy his jungle item and has to go back to base. Either way, you know when you ran into him on the top side crab, he had done a 4 camp in a clear and was denied both scuttles. He was with you in that bottom lane gank, so he goes and does his grump after that gank. That's a logical assumption. But why now would we decide to relent on pressure? If the Echo goes back to base at this stage and decides to go top lane, you are letting him counter jungle your grump and wolves, second spawn of both those camps. Guess what happened? Instead of actually him going back to base though, he decided to do the grump, walk all the way around the map with no purpose, and suddenly walk into your blue side jungle and get 2 highly elevated camps when he's behind. The best course of action here is to simply stay out after the Raptors, do your wolves, do your grump. If the Echo shows top lane as we might expect here, we can react, we can counter gank, but otherwise we can simply go back to base, and then you can look for the repeat gank on the bottom lane, you can look for the dragon, and if Echo shows somewhere on the top side and maybe goes back to base, you can counter jungle him in his jungle with a 2-level lead. You're not giving them counter jungling for free, you're not rewarding their horrifically bad pathing, and you're still going to be able to do everything you need to do in order to win and carry. A high elo game on the gameplay channel that I just released with a Kindred was a similar thing. 5 camp clear, got the top crab, looked to shadow mid lane for a gank, when nothing happened was going to go back to base, but instead because the enemy jungler showed bottom side for a gank, killed their ADC, all of a sudden the potential for counter jungling the Krugs and then meeting the Kindred on the second spawn of the Raptors was a possibility. So cancel your back, take your Krugs, take your Raptors, and if you need to be somewhere else to counter gank, you can be, but you also stop the enemy jungler from having the possibility of counter jungling you, and you'll still end up on the top side of the map, which is exactly where you want to be in order to sequence down, to gank more, to get dragons, and so on. Not giving them free counter jungling and protecting your camps goes a long way in terms of keeping your leads. However, it's not always so straightforward. Sometimes you want to take 1 step back for 2 steps forward, except for jungling, I don't mind taking 1 or 2 steps back and then, taking 10 steps forward. And that's what this Volibear could have done in his game. Did a 3 camp clear. Most of you know my Volibear videos last year. I love the 3 camp invade because we could never keep up with the AFK farming junglers. But with the buffs earlier this season, the 5 camp, 6 camp Volibear meta has arrived, which means you can afford to do that and whatnot. However, enemy junglers in low and mid elos, even your diamond 4, diamond 3s, don't always clear to their peak efficiency, which means they're slow, they lay traps, they don't ward, they don't drag things into the bush, and you can actually go on your 3 camp invades provided you understand you started on the same side. So as we watch the Volibear do a 3 camp and attempt to gank on the top side, let's reverse the clock and see where the Nidalee was as he was doing that. You see this? You see the possibilities? Why are we letting the Nidalee get away with slow clearing, bad pathing, lazy vision control when we could just be annihilating her and smiting away the red buff? However, because we got nothing on the top side, we're basically in the same exact situation as if we did a 5 camp and got the crab. The Nidalee goes to the mid lane and now wards your raptor pit and then heads to the bottom side of the map. As Volibear, you want to stop exactly before you get into the lane. There's no ways you're catching this Nidalee. Yes, the raptor pit is warded, but I don't mind giving away my raptor camp so that you can remain hidden. Go take her raptor camp, take the Krugs, gank the top lane then from a nice angle. You should have tier 2 wolves and grumps spawning relatively soon. There's no ways you're getting that bottom side crab because your bottom lane doesn't have prio. And remember, this is on the predication that you did a 5 camp. The 3 camp here really does hurt you, but if you did the 5 camp into this sort of play, you will have such a huge experience lead, and I think it's worth losing your Raptors. What you don't want to do is inherently go to your Raptor camp, draw attention from the mid laner and the Nidalee, you show everyone where you are, you take a level 1 Raptor camp, you take a level 1 Krug camp. If there's nothing to do on the bottom lane, you have to go back to base. If you're able to gank it, great. The problem is now you have a split map. Once you do go back to base, you might end up with the Nidalee doing some random pathing, ending up counter jungling your blue side because you spent a lot of time Raptors, Krugs, and bot, instead of, just 5 camping, stealing her stuff, and protecting your jungle at the same time. In mid and low MMRs, you're not gonna lose that Raptor camp very easily, trust me. And instead, you'd be level 6 while the Nidalee's level 5, but as you can see, because we were so focused on protecting our camps instead of just giving one away in order to punish their bad pathing, we did bad pathing, and the Nidalee's annoying circular pathing of doom that makes no sense ends up getting rewarded, and you are out of the game. You do not have tempo control, you're getting invaded in your own jungle, all because we showed early on a ward that we really had no business going near. And yes, this really does pertain to farming junglers as well. If we look at a high diamond career game, we've got a Karthus versus Rumble. The Karthus gets a leash on the bottom side as is standard, looking to full clear. The Rumble gets a leash on his red, and as you can see from his pathing, he wants to invade. This is always a great idea versus a Karthus because guess what? There's no ways you're ever gonna try and match his 5 camp, invade and kill him on the Krugs. You're not gonna do it. But Karthus employs a bit of shrewd tactics. He's gonna do his red first in case this happens, and then fall back down to his Raptors and Krugs. Naturally, once you queue, you notice, hey, someone's here. The Rumble's highly greedy pathing was simply cut off and denied, and now instead of falling back to your jungle as most of you would do, yes? You probably think, hey, we killed the Rumble, I can double scuttle, this is great. No, take his blue, take his Grum, force him to go to that bottom side scuttle. Now you can fall back to your Raptors and then sequence to your blue side, and if your bottom laners have brains and awareness and you're pinging it out, they can collapse and kill him for this because there's nowhere else for him to be whatsoever. This is the logical destination and it should be punished. Now I play bottom lane, so I know I've done this with my bottom lane and even by myself. I've put it in videos when I'm the Zyra. But it doesn't stop you as the Karthus understanding this tracking, heading in that direction, and even if your bottom lane doesn't arrive, you will meet him in the river and then you can just slap him around a bit. Regardless, because he dies from bad pathing once again, don't go back to base. Go into his jungle, see if the Raptors are up, see if the Krugs are up. Maybe you have a fortuitous angle to gank the bottom lane. And because now the Rumble might not have any other decision other than to go bottom lane again, hang around the lane shadow, and if they decide to fight, kill him. If not, you go back to base. Either way, you win. And from that, you should have no issue going back to base, buying some nice items, taking a dragon, resequencing, using your ultimate, and continuing to apply pressure as we talk about in most of our videos. He is a farming jungler, but because he sequenced well, counter jungled well, had some ganks and counter ganks, and the Rumble kept putting himself in bad positions, the Karthus knew that he could steal the objectives and control the tempo of the game. Hopefully you can see a couple examples from this video, Challenger, Diamond, Platinum, Gold, Silver, that it's okay to give an enemy jungle 2 crabs if you're killing them 4 times and taking another 4 camps in return. That it's okay to give away 1 tier 1 Raptor camp if you can counter jungle multiple and gank lanes at the same time. And also simply staying out a little bit longer just to make sure that the enemy jungler who's pathing to the same side of the map doesn't get any sort of advantages in the counter jungling so that you lose tempo control. For more of these concepts, please see the tempo video as well as the jungle roots video. They explain them in depth. I just wanted an in and out video to look at some core scenarios that junglers are missing when it comes to looking for advantages and denying the enemy jungler. I do hope you enjoyed and learned something. Please do leave a like, comment, and share if you did. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel as well as the gameplay channel for all your jungle needs. Thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. Make sure your beards are combed fresh and smooth, but the ball deodorant isn't for the beards. Just remember that. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I will see you all in the next tutorial.